Hi everyone, Master P here from the Language of Composition 3rd edition. We are talking about test-taking mentality and how to get your head in the game because let's face it, when you take the AP Language and Composition exam, it's like facing off against a fierce competitor and you are bringing to the table all of the knowledge you've learned throughout the year, but you also have to have the right mentality the day of the exam. So we've got some strategies for you, some suggestions, things that will hopefully help you perform even better on your AP Language exam. So the first thing to think about ahead of time is what works for you. Think about what makes you feel motivated, what makes you feel focused, what makes you feel ready for a challenge. And this is a question that you should answer in the weeks prior to the exam so you can take the necessary steps to prepare for the day of the exam. For me, I love the musical Hamilton. The lyrics, the songs, they inspire me. So one of the things that I would do to prepare for the exam is I would make sure that I've got my music ready for the day before and the morning of the exam. That's something that makes me feel motivated. So think about what works for you. The other thing to think about is what do good test takers know? And we know that there's a strategy to standardized test taking. And of course, we as teachers never we try to avoid giving our students instructions on, teaching to the test. But there are some ideas or some things to keep in mind when you face these tests. So I wanted to share with you a couple of insights I've had after years of taking standardized tests. So one of the things I know is that I've been preparing all year, but even still, I recognize that a test like the AP Language and Composition exam will be challenging, which means I should feel confident, but I don't want to feel cavalier. I don't want to be overconfident. So I need to prepare myself for the fact that the exam will be challenging. I know that this test is 3 hours and 15 minutes, and the length of that test time sounds really daunting. However, I also know from taking many of these exams before that once I sit down to take the test, time will fly. Sometimes it's even a little concerning about how quickly time is flying because I've got so much of the test left to take. But hearing the 3 hour and 15 minute number makes me get a little nervous, but I know that when I sit down to take the exam, I won't even feel the time passing. I know that there will be many questions that stump me, but I only need to answer a certain number correctly to pass, so I don't have to worry about being perfect. I know that I want to do my best, so I need to try my best. I know that test makers are going to try and trip me up, but I'm going to stay positive the entire test. I may earn a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5 on this exam, but if I try my hardest, I can hold my head high. The night before the exam, some things I'm going to do to prepare. I'm going to pick out my outfit because I don't want to be scrambling to find clothes the morning of. I definitely want to make sure I dress comfortably because I'm going to be sitting in a chair for a long time, and I want to make sure I'm wearing layers. Some of you may be testing in your schools, and some of you may be testing in other buildings. The air conditioning might break the day before, or the heater might come on midway. You never know what to expect, so you always want to make sure you've got layers on that you could take on or off. You want to gather your materials. Make sure you have everything prepared for that day so that you don't have to scramble looking for things. You will need a student ID or a driver's license. You'll need a couple of pencils, number 2 pencils, and some blue or black ink pens. You would need a calculator if you're taking an AP Math exam, of course, but you don't need a calculator for AP Lang. You're going to want to set 2 alarms. You don't want to be the person who sleeps in past their alarm, or, you didn't realize that your battery on your cell phone was low. Also consider having a backup plan and asking a friend to text you, and you could do the same. Make sure you're both awake and getting ready in the morning. And of course, make sure you get a good night's sleep. The morning of, you want to eat a healthy, filling breakfast, something that is going to fill you up and give you that energy you need to sit through the whole exam. So something like oatmeal or a fried egg on an English muffin, something more than just like a granola bar that may not sustain you throughout the test. Also, listen to positive music. I've already mentioned how I love the music from Hamilton, maybe something like Eye of the Tiger or a contemporary song that you know and love. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get to the testing location. This is especially important if you're testing somewhere other than your school. Leave yourself time to find parking, to find a classroom. So make those plans ahead of time. During the test, make sure you keep your head in the game. This is a challenge and you have accepted the challenge. So you respect the test. You're not going to blow it off or just think, oh, this is going to be easy, but you know or should have confidence that you're going to defeat the test. And even in those moments when you don't feel confident, just fake it. Sometimes you have to fake it to make it and keep going and stay positive. Make sure you stay focused on your goal, which is to work the hardest of your abilities. Don't worry about the outcome. That's going to take care of itself. Your job is to just work as hard as you can. Make sure you pace yourself. Be aware of the time so that you can strategize your use of it. If during testing you begin to feel overwhelmed, you could try some of these strategies. Ahead of time, think of a mental image that you know you want to picture if you begin to feel overwhelmed during the test. Maybe it's like a scene from a movie, or maybe it's the lyric from a favorite song, or even a funny meme, but have something in mind ahead of time that you can picture if you begin to feel overwhelmed during the exam. Another strategy would be just to close your eyes and give yourself 30 seconds to breathe slowly, get yourself together. Sometimes it's worth that moment to pull yourself together than to continue rushing through the exam. And remember, you don't need to be perfect to pass this exam, and you don't need to answer every question correctly to pass this exam. And in terms of the larger picture and to put this exam into perspective, passing the course is an accomplishment in and of itself. You are all AP Lang scholars, and all of us from the Language of Composition 3rd edition want to let you know that we are proud of you, and we wish you the best of luck.